Hello, friends. Okay, so it's been a hot minute since we had a sit down and chat. It is, it was sunny out, and it's actually getting so gloomy, but it's not supposed to be gloomy. That's not what I came here to talk to you about, but it just caught me off guard. I was just on the phone with my sister, so I wasn't paying too much attention. I was watching my niece and nephew. Um, all right, so we are in Idaho, and my spouse is away to pick up the plane that he needs for the winter project here. So it's just me and Mr. Kitty, and I don't typically sleep very well by myself anymore. That is what it is. I've accepted it. I do everything I can to get good sleep, and I do prioritize sleep. So it's a bummer when I have a lack of sleep or a lack of quality sleep, which is where I'm at now. I will likely yawn quite a bit in this video simply because I am tired. Also, it's kind of just about dinner time as I'm filming this, so maybe I just need food. No, I'm definitely tired. Anywho, it hit me like not last night, but the night before, and I don't even know what it was. It was like late night, should be sleeping thoughts, and it was kind of about failure. And so if you've read my blog, I've mentioned this before, but I don't think I've actually mentioned this on YouTube yet. So I'm actually a certified nutrition coach, and I have my 200-hour yoga teacher certification. And I'm proud of those things because I spent the money and I completed the certification at the level that I needed to. So that's something. But for the longest time, I've actually, and like, I'm going to go into this. For the longest time, I've actually felt like I failed because I paid money. I went through the certification and like 200 hours to do a yoga certification. And that doesn't include like the time it took for me to actually like do all the work. So, and like the end assignments and all that stuff. I don't believe it's included. So that's a long time, 200 hours. And it actually, I took like a year to do it. I was not fast on it. So like I committed a lot of time to these certifications, and even deeper, I've had a nutrition certification or nutrition coach certification for like 6 years. Yeah, I've renewed it the 2 times after because it renews every 2 years. So I have taken the recertification exam each time because I don't want to let it go, because inside of me there's something that, I did it for a reason and there's got to be some purpose. But for a very long time, until very recently, I felt like proud of myself for having done these things, but like a complete failure for not having done anything with them. Which, if you had come to me like maybe a half year ago, I probably would have actually cried about that fact, because I paid good money to learn these things, to use them to potentially get into these industries, to provide financially for our family in an industry that I had passion for. Well, I don't know if I have passion for the industry. I have passion for the information and for the act of yoga and the history. I don't know about the industries. That's not chat for today. But until very recently, like I'm considering 6 months quite recently, especially on my brain management journey, like 6 months is, a short time. But I felt like a complete failure because I had put myself into and given my effort to and my time to these certifications that I didn't do anything with. And now they are current. I could do something with them. Absolutely. But I haven't. And I don't think it's because, well, I think it's like an unknown direction. I don't know the direction. And I'm kind of leaving that to divine timing right now because I don't have a direction for it. But I think half the battle with thinking about a direction for it was that I did feel like I'd failed to this point because I did the thing. I paid, I got the certification, I did the work, and I know businesses are not work. And this is sort of like a false, very generalized vibe that like I did the thing, so it should have happened. Like I should have had that business, or I should have I should have been thriving, which is, again, it's a story we tell ourselves, right? It's like the same as like, you should have the marriage, you should have the children, you should have the house, da 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 da. And if that's your dream, then you do it. And if it isn't your dream, then those shoulds shouldn't matter, which is tough for people to hear because that's sort of like the big dream. I mean, I was raised in the 90s, so I guess maybe people before me or, people after me, like my niece and nephew probably won't have that same expectation placed on them by society, we'll say. Because I don't think my family ever pressured me into anything. So I'm very grateful for that. But so I had to decide that and work through the fact that like I hadn't failed. It's hard with these things that they have like a timeline and they have a finish line, so to speak. You get a certification when you pass that exam and you get that certification or the certificate. Words are hard. That's it. That's the end of that part of that journey. Whereas, if you're just trying to decide to think about something differently, there isn't like this definitive end until you one day realize, oh, I don't think about that the way that I thought about it, which is kind of how my thoughts on this being a failure had to change. I felt like I failed. I went to school. I did the thing. That wasn't supposed to feel like a failure. And despite being proud, it did. It felt like a failure because I wasn't doing anything with it, because I wasn't coaching people or I wasn't teaching anything to do with yoga. So I had to change how I felt about failure. And for a long time, I believed that like you go through things and that everything that happens is for a reason. And my spouse thinks that's a little cuckoo, but that's how I feel. And that's what my life experience has, taught me or brought me through, right? So it's hard with school because school, you think, oh, I go through it and I learned what I needed to learn. That's how school works. But it's the after that becomes the actual challenge, and school can be hard. Don't get me wrong, 200 hours of yoga and yoga history and Sanskrit, that was a lot to take in. And anatomy, that was wild. It was great. I loved learning it. I love that it's in my brain now. But I got distracted by a squirrel, like a literal squirrel. We have these two babies out here that like run around the trees and it's so bloody cute. It's ridiculous. Anywho, literally distracted by squirrels. That checks out for me. Anywho, so I had to change the way that I thought about how I feel. So I felt like I was failing because I wasn't doing anything with it. And there's still a part of me that I think will always feel that way, but I can sort of override it now. I can say, I'm proud because I completed that work when I could have stopped. And in the case of, a month or two in that yoga journey, I did stop. But then I went back at it and I kicked its butt or whatever. But then now my thoughts on it are that like I didn't fail because I'm not doing anything with it. It isn't wasted. I have knowledge and I just have this belief now that I went through it and I learned it and I have these certifications and I'm going to use it, but it's not the time. And people are probably saying, well, didn't you have that nutrition coaching certificate for 6 years? I have, indeed. And I have tried a couple avenues, but they did not align with who I am or who I want to be in a coaching capacity. So that's fine. And that's fine too. It's okay to pivot. I actually wrote a blog on pivoting. So, head over to the blog and check that out. Oh my God, that was ridiculously cringy. Oh boy, it's been a while since I've done one of these. I forgot how silly they can be. Anywho, so it's okay to pivot, and like that pivot can feel like having, grace for yourself, leaving space for yourself, So while I have these 2 certifications that I am doing precisely 0% with currently, it doesn't diminish the fact that I have them. They're current, and at any moment, I could do something with them. And I do think that at some point, I will have an idea that I'll run with that feels aligned. Because, oh, here's the yawning. Because I got them because I have passion for some of these things, but I have passion for doing it in my way. Which sounds kind of entitled. It's not what I mean. If you've watched anything else on any of my brain management stuff, I maybe don't think what a traditional nutrition coach might think like it. I love and enjoy the science of the body and how thoughts work, and I like to integrate those. But this is not an ad for me to try and get nutrition clients, just so we're clear. Or yoga clients. I'm not doing anything with that. I feel maybe more at peace about it. I think because I decided that it wasn't failure, that it isn't. I completed them. I did the work, and even though I'm not doing anything with them, and if someone on the outside looked in and said, why you have these certifications, why aren't you doing anything with them? 1, it's not their choice, it's not their life. And 2, even if it's somebody in my life who I value and respect, I still don't have to have their opinion have weight on something like this. If they were concerned about my well-being or I was putting myself in a bad place, okay, take that into consideration. But because this does not have anything to do with my current well-being, and in fact, if I'm going to do something with it, I want it to be as me as possible and as aligned with me, and I want to find people who have that same view to build a community, then amazing. But I'm not going to let someone else make me feel bad, even if I love those people, which, to be clear, none of my family is making me feel that way. None of my friends are making me feel that way. I have a massively beautiful support system, and I'm incredibly blessed by that. And it's taken a lot of years to curate friends and understanding of humans so that I have that type of support around me, because that's incredibly important too. And that's incredibly important for me not feeling like I'm failing as well. One of my biggest cheerleaders is my mom. That's how she rolls. But like my family supports me. So if I decided to take on another business, which I have taken on my fair share of businesses, mostly MLMs, but we're done that phase of life. You live and you learn. They'll support me any way that they can. And even in this YouTube journey, my family or my blog, my family tries to read it and my blog, and I think they're trying to watch my videos. Only some of them tell me when they do actually watch them. But that's their own prerogative. If they do watch, hi family. And, some of the family maybe is not super big on social media, so fair enough. Still love them. But yeah, so, okay, all this to say, this is getting long. I'm so sorry. I've been on a friggin' tangent. All this to say that I literally had this moment in my half awake, half asleep where I was like, man, I have these certifications. I should do something with these. I feel like I failed. I wasted my time. I wasted my money. And then my brain was like, excuse me? What are you even going on about? Like, you are none of these things. Yes, you have these certifications. That's a fact. But you're not a failure. You're not wasting your time. You didn't waste your money. Like, you have these certifications that at any point I can do something with. And I think that we view failure. I'm hoping it's changing. I'm seeing a change, but maybe that's just my algorithms and things and what I surround myself with in content. But I don't see really failure in the traditional sense anymore, in that I failed and that's done and that's the end and it's so definitive. It's more like I tried and maybe it didn't go so well. And maybe I've decided that that's not the route I want to take, or maybe I've decided that there's a different way to try that thing. It depends how passionate or how much you want it, how much work you're able and want to do. So failure is really just, it's a word at the end of the day, but I don't think it exists in my brain unless my brain's being an asshole like it was, but it really was like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I think I just changed how I think that failure isn't a thing. I tried and maybe it sucked, or I tried and maybe it was great, or I tried and maybe I decided it wasn't the thing that I wanted to do, but I tried and I learned and I move on. And even if they were it was a wild experience or there was money invested, it's okay. And pardon me, oh my goodness, now I'm going to have the hiccups. And you just get to make a decision from that point with the knowledge and the data that you now have. And so it wasn't failure. It was something you tried. And that kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off. When my brain was being an arse, saying that I wasted my time and I failed, and I had that moment of, what are you even talking about? And it's like, well, no, I tried some things, and I do have these things in my back pocket that I can pull out whenever. But in the case of failing other things that you try them. If you think that, if it is something you are thinking about and is within your capabilities, or even if it isn't, you can learn. That's another, I'm a big advocate for you can learn. There's so many things that you can learn. There's so many free resources. And I advocate so heavy for free resources because you can learn something, start to finish, to get good at it. Maybe not master it, but get good at something from free resources. Are you kidding me? Free knowledge? Sign me up. Because the certifications I have were not free knowledge. And I'm not any less grateful, because I think that to get a deeper dive, sometimes you do have to, it has to be paywalled, if you will. But I believe that if you want to learn something, you can learn something. And that means that even if you want to try something and you have to learn it, you can do it. You can still literally do it. So, and even if Maybe you get into it and you realize, oh, I don't actually want to learn this. You didn't fail. You just decided that this didn't feel right to you. That's not failure. That's using your knowledge to decide what's right in your life. No harm, no foul, in a sense. And it is hard, even for me, like when there's money involved. But at the same time, you'll make it back. And that's a big, whoa, hold on. That's a big moment for me. I'm gonna get teary-eyed. For a long time, I think I've had a money scarcity mindset. And I don't know why. I've tried digging into it for a very long time, and it's been a little bit of a, pardon me, a little bit of an odd thing to try to dig into. But for a long time, yeah, I've come from a place of, but what if the money is gone? And I still have it, and it still causes me a little bit of stress because I haven't found the root of it yet. I'm working on it. But in that moment where I just said, you'll make it back, my brain was like, wait a second. That's right. I know that there's a lot of misfortune and unfair treatment and advantages and things like that in this life when it comes to money. But I think that changing my mindset on money has actually been helpful and is actually working. That's crazy, guys. I just had a moment on camera right now. I'm gonna cry. Okay, well, holy bananas. I did not see this going this way. It's, that's the thing about brain management is like, you're doing the work and sometimes it just hits you like a friggin' freight train where you're able to observe and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, like my brain has changed. That thought would have never even come to me before my brain management journey. I don't know. Okay, I can't even, this is way too long. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have a mental moment now because that's just something I've been working on, and I literally had a moment of realization on camera, which is nuts. You maybe think I'm nuts too, but thanks for being here. Okay. Anywho, I'm gonna go make some dinner. Like and subscribe. I'm going to keep going with brain management and with vlogs because I'm actually really enjoying kind of this blend. It's like a in the life of and up close and personal, which is, I don't know, I like that. So hopefully you like it too. Subscribing is free and it really, really helps me keep this YouTube dream alive. I know I'm driving it home, but it really does. Subscribers and watch time make literally the difference towards monetization. And so if you're here with me still, this many minutes later, I love you. Thank you. And I will see you on the next one.